Soul Food Book Club. This is our weekly meeting. After we read some of the book, we come in and discuss it on Wednesdays. And we'd love to invite anyone that wants to come in with us. Just come in and have the conversation. It doesn't matter if you've read the book or not. We can still have conversation about it and what we're getting from it. We have Charlie Coons and Erica Hoppy in New York. Hi, you beautiful people. And we have Linda Lemieux in Florida.
Hello.
With Grace Isis in New York, but she's off camera. And I know we have a few other people that will probably be jumping in here. Our book that we are reading right now is called The Angel Code by Anea Joy Holili. Thank you, Charlie. Our beautiful author was on with us last week to discuss the book. And how did you all like that? Do you love Anea?
Oh, it was nice. Yes.
Yes.
She's lovely.
She is lovely, and she's so connected in with the angels and has been for so many years. So she receives those messages very clearly. And I have enjoyed reading the book and reading what they have brought through from her or through her as the conduit. And some of them that I was reading, it's like such poetry. And as I was reading it, I could just feel her emotions as those messages came through her. I wanted to find a couple of them that really touched me. So if anybody else wants to start sharing about what you're getting from the book or what's happening with you with reading it, let's just open it up to whoever wants to share.
Yeah, like you said, the book is like all poetry. It's very powerful, and the different one stories is like they have different meanings, and like there's one that probably resonates with everyone that reads it, that's the way I see it. There was a couple that really resonated with me, and I shared them last week with everybody. So.
Yeah, I agree. I had finished the book, so I went back and just opened different pages, and a lot of the ones I opened were things I needed to be reminded of course. And one time you may read it, and the next time you may be ready for a new message or to get a different message out of it. So, yeah, so I agree with Charlie. And to me, one of the main messages was just ask the angels. Just don't sit there and stew in your juices. Ask for help. Ask for guidance, and it's okay. It took me a long time in life to learn to ask for help. I always felt I had to do it myself and I'd get through it. And so it was a hard lesson for me to ask for help, and people want to help you. When you're in a situation where you don't know what to do, people would love to help you. It gives them a purpose. So. Yeah.
We sometimes forget that, don't we, Linda?
Yeah.
That when we let somebody help us, it's really lifting them up also.
Mm-hmm. Right. I know there's been so many times a friend of mine, someone has passed or they're in a difficult situation, and you say, well, just tell me what I can do. A lot of times that's why people bring food or things by, and part of that is to see you and just make sure you're okay. But another part is they want to do things. So you are giving them an opportunity to shine, really.
Yeah, here's one that had touched me, and it goes right along with this discussion of what we're talking about. This was from February 28th, 2001. Arise, dear one, heart. Allow wisdom and seek truth. Clear the way. A journey begins. As a phoenix, arise from your ashes. Wisdom is not an easy pathway, child. Allow yourself room for growth, for all growth requires change and development. Arise, a new awareness comes. We are here. We hear all. Judge not. We leave that to you. Your right, your dimension, your gift. It is not for us to decide. Peace is here. It is within you all. Access, access, access. This is the key. Godspeed. Choice is growth. Choice speeds growth. Time is. Allow it, nurture its flow, and the rewards are many. So it's not always an easy path when we know that we need to speak up and reach out to somebody and say, hey, I could really use some encouragement right now, or I could use that little bit of guidance if somebody could tune in and see what the angels have to say. It's not always easy to speak up and to use our voice. That's something that we have to really be ready to do and to allow into our lives. Hello, Miss Jean.
Hello. Now this is the way I look when I'm working in the garden, guys. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I thought that seriously, when I went to the program schedule, it says that it's 8 o'clock Eastern time, 8 to 9 o'clock Eastern time. So I'm going to have to talk to Ruth about that. Because I forget, so I have to check. And I checked and I said, oh, good, I can do all this stuff before, book club. So I'm really sorry. But I'll look better tonight at chanting. Okay. And I really wanted to discuss. Yeah.
Good.
I'm sorry I interrupted you all. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you didn't interrupt at all. We were just sharing. I was just sharing a passage that had reached out to me and wanted to read that. So I just did. And now I'm opening it back up. Anybody else that wants to share, please feel free to do so.
Well, I wanted to ask if anybody is having to reread and reread, because I have to reread all the time. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's that kind of book, I think. It's not a book that you just read and get the message right away. Sometimes you go back and read the passage again, and you might be in a different state of mind if you read it that second time or third time, to where it really flows to you.
Right. Well, I took extensive notes. Now I can't find them. But anyway, yes, I feel like it's something that's being revealed slowly, that you have to reread it, that we're getting messages, and some of them are not for right now. They're for something that for the future, that we might not be able to fully understand them right now, but we will, eventually understand them. So, and I was amazed at how a lot of it kind of aligned with what Marietta says, to accept, align, allow. Or I said that wrong. Accept.
Yeah, that's
No.
right.
I
was
did
right.
say it right? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm a little discombobulated. But anyway, but it's a beautiful book. And I wanted to ask her, but she's not here, is if she knew which angel was giving her the message, or was it many angels? Or, I just wondered what I also wondered if you ever got, well, I've wondered about this for some of our other programs too, and you can answer this for me. When you speak to the angels, do you see them as masculine or feminine?
It depends. Sometimes an angel will come to me and I know that it's a very masculine energy that's speaking. And sometimes I even physically hear the angel speaking in a masculine tone. But then that same angel can appear at a different time and be very soft and feminine. So it just, from what I understand and what my experience is, they're going to appear to us as we are ready to receive them, however that looks. So sometimes we may need that soft, gentle side of the angel. Sometimes we might need that masculine side. So it really, they're so versatile and they don't have a gender. So they can come however we can resonate with them, however we receive them. But I haven't talked to Anaya about if she knew which angel was giving which message. But for me, when I channel the angels, like if it's a general message for everybody, it's usually the collective of angels. They together put their voices in and their message in. And then if there's a specific angel that wants to speak, then I know who that is. They'll always come through with some way to identify themselves that I know it's them. Like if it's Metatron, I always know when Metatron's in the room.
Me too.
I always know that, that huge amount of power. Michael also is very strong when he comes into the room to give a message. But then there's some of them that, we don't really talk about them a lot or interact with them. And so sometimes I have to ask, who's giving the message, or wait until they reveal that through the message itself. So it's so interesting working with these angels. There's so many of them and we are learning more about them, but there's no way we can know all of them. It's just impossible because there are so many and so many levels of angels. So it would be interesting to hear her insight on that, though. Thank you, Jean, for bringing that up. I'd like to know the answer also, if she at times knew who was giving her the message, or if it was just, this is the message that was received.
And in the back of the book, there's a lot of questions, not questions, but to write things down. And it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but in some of them, she goes 1, 2, 3, 5. She skips 4. And I wanted to know why she skipped 4 in a bunch of them. It says list 5 events for people who have helped you, and it's 1, 2, 3. On some unexpected way. 1, 2, 3, 5.
Yeah, she skipped 4s.
She skipped 4s in a bunch of them.
Maybe it's a typo.
Yeah.
There's one here that has a 4.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that have 4s.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch that go 1, 2, 3, 5. So I'm like,
Yeah.
you would think that,
Maybe she cuts and pastes and add it after the question, and it's just the same mistake over and over.
Yeah, that was my thought too, Linda. If she was using a template where she just copied and pasted.
Yeah.
I have one I wanted to read on 107.
Okay.
Well, first 106, the hour draws near, cast the net wide, hands holding hearts, color your world, light the corners, for to you now comes the way, the pathway. Clear a space, make a place among the thorns, Cultivate growth, speak not, do now. The momentum exists. Peruse it, harmonize, blend your essence with that of others of like minds, gentle hearts, strong hands carve the way forth. Express the vision, soften the lines, merge, marry, for the common good comes your way, an expression of hope. Renewal, repair all. Such a time, this time of growth. A resonance, sweet, pure, drink from the one source. Drink deeply, sate your thirst, and the well never runs dry. And then it skips 2 or 3 lines and it says, Carmichael, remember the name in times to come. And then she goes on, important but not vital, resist. The gentle curves need color, allow it to be so. So it's, I felt conflicted a lot. It's like, I got relaxed and thought, well, you know, I've been in the thorns, I'm letting that go. And then later on the page, it says to resist. So I'm not sure if I don't get it or if I'm not reading it right, or I just need to read it again at another time. I read that before and I got more out of it this time. So it's like, it's kind of like you're not alone. There's other people there, and go ahead and use their help.
So then, but I wonder what they're saying to resist.
It says, important but not vital, resist. The gentle curves need color, allow it to be so. And then there's a new date after that.
So that was on page 150?
107, page 107.
Started on 106.
It started on 106 on 24th of February, 2002. But it stops and there's several lines that has Carmichael, remember the name in times to come. And then a couple more lines, important but not vital, resist. The gentle curves need color, allow it to be so. So I'm not sure what it means. Maybe smooth off the corners, smooth off the edges. But then it says resist. So to me, it's like 2 different thoughts.
Right. Okay, I wonder if the pages are different in Kindle.
Yeah.
What's the date?
The date is 24 February 2002.
Yeah, they must be different.
Or
Yeah,
could it,
that would be.
could it also mean that, excuse me, that every specific day had its own download, right? Had its own code messaging. And perhaps this is also echoing where she was as well. And maybe the oh boy, maybe it's just saying whatever it was about the thorns, whatever brought those thorns, right, where the thorn makes that indentation or whatever it is, that smooth it out, that is not going to penetrate. I could be wrong. I don't know where I'm going with my creativity. But perhaps that's because there are those. What are those thorns? Perhaps those are the thorns that we are all going through, that are coming through in our journey. And doesn't it mention puncturing? I still don't have my book, everybody, so that's why I'm just winging it. Does it say that the thorns are puncturing, Linda? Or what does it
Make a place
does.
among the thorns.
Okay, take your place among the thorns.
Right.
So-
Clear a space,
Mhm.
make a place among the thorns, cultivate growth, speak not, do now. The momentum exists. Peruse it, harmonize. I think it means stop talking about it and take some action. That would be
Yeah.
my take. Blend your
I-
essence with that of others of like minds. Gentle hearts, strong hands carve the way forth. So it's you're not alone getting out of the thorns. There's other people there with gentle hearts to support you or help you.
Right.
Express the vision, soften the lines, merge, marry, for the common good comes your way, an expression of hope. Renewal, repair all. So I guess that's after going through the thorns.
The thorns, right.
Such
And
a
you know
time.
what? It is. It's tough.
And as far as the coloring, it start at the beginning, it says, color your world, light the corners, for to you now comes the way, the pathway. And then at the end, it says, important but not vital, resist. The gentle curves need color. Allow it to be so. So it starts and ends with coloring
And gentleness.
and gentleness. The gentle curves need color.
Right.
I
Yeah.
just can't put my head around the resist.
Yeah, that seems to be out of place.
Right.
Maybe the resist means not to give up.
Right.
You know, resist from stopping, resist. You know, I mean, she's in another country, correct?
Yes, in Australia.
So the point is that their language may be different than what we understand. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
some of their like wording, like when we translate words, they don't come exact. You know what I mean? Or it could be a phrase over there.
Yeah, like the way we would use that word resist may be totally different from the way they use it.
Right, right.
And
Thank you, Erica.
yeah, thank you, Erica.
I think that's a good point.
I'm also hearing that resist may also mean, because you've been in this clearing amidst the thorns, and there is all this, there's a lot that is coming out. What I'm hearing is, from my understanding, is that the resistance is, don't resist what comes up. Whatever comes up, don't resist it, but color it with but give it color, give it softness of edges, because sometimes we see things and we things come up and they have very hard edges, you know, and it's like, this is so hard, but what is this, and what, perhaps it's the attitude is to resist going into that attitude of a hard edge, of that this is final, this is overwhelming, do you see what I mean? Perhaps maybe that's where the resistance is. Don't resist whatever is brought forth from your knowing, from within you, and don't give it such a hard edge. Let it have curves, let it be, you know, a little bit more, it's like a river flowing, and then color it with the colors of pink, which is love, you know. So that was my understanding. I don't know.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
What do you think, Teri?
Yeah, I was just having a hard time with that word, but when we think of resisting, we're putting up a wall, we're putting up a defense. And sometimes we need to really step back and observe. And maybe we do need to resist some things in life. But I'm in agreement with Erica that, you know, there may be a different definition that we're not aware of, that is the way this word is being used in that sentence, because it says important but not vital, resist. So I think it's for us to really come to terms with, in each of our own way, You know, if we see it as something to push against, or if we see it as something that we're just going to accept, align, and allow with. And that's not really resisting, but maybe it's the way that it's meant to come across, is for us to not put up a barrier, but to resist the temptation to do that, to resist the overthinking, overanalyzing, going into what ifs. You know, I think that, you know, there's a couple of ways, different ways to look at it, and it's whatever works for us, whatever we allowed that message to be from the angels, because this was all from the angels. It was all divine. So there's no mistakes. It's there for a purpose. And it's something that we can definitely just say, okay, show me what it means. Just asking them to open up the clarity for it.
As everyone's talking, it's occurring to me that it might mean change, and that we don't have to be so rigid and to bend, you know, to bend with it, to bend our ways of thinking, and to you know, listen to what others have to say, and like change from like the old ways. I don't know. I got change out of it.
I think that I'd like to read something from page 61, at least I think it's page 61. I think it goes along with that, and it also goes along with what I said about, I don't think we're going to fully understand things right away. We have to keep working at it. Starting in the middle, about the middle of the page, it says, listen. See where it says listen? It says, listen, be prepared. You are not yet ready. Do as you must. Be aware of time. It marches on, regardless of the drummer. Pack, unpack, crate, wings, truck. It is coming towards you now in the distance still, winding its way onto you, steadily onward. Time will reveal the intention is clear, will become clear. As time allows, all things align. Breathe, allow the presence. And if you, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but if you go further down, it says, but look too for the truths revealed unintentionally. And then almost at the bottom, it says, harm is sometimes caused by haste. So it's also telling us to you know, not hurry it, not want to hurry it, to take it in, to allow the time for you to align, to assimilate the truths that you're learning. And sometimes you're going to learn these truths in unbelievable ways, unbelievable situations. And I just think, and the part that really confused me was the pack, unpack, crate, wings, and truck. You know, that confused me a little bit, but I think it means, you know, you're going to probably accept some things as important, and then later on unpack it and replace it, that you don't have to just stick with the original idea if something new presents itself to you that clarifies it. Does that make sense? That, you know, I think some people hang on to, well, you have to do this, but then later on it shows up that maybe this is a little different than what you thought it was. And so you can't just hang on to the original idea that, you know, like for instance, like just as an example, all angels are masculine or have no feminine side. Now we're learning that's not true. The angels have a feminine side and feminine traits. So I don't know, I'm not making much sense, but I think that this is a book we're going to have to grow with. and it's going to be revealed to us in increments slowly. As we come to understandings, we're going to get a little more understanding and a little more understanding. So, and I think she, apparently from what I'm reading, the angels intended it for this time, because this is a time when we are having that problem of confusion in the world, of seeing these changes that are happening, some for the good and some we're confused about because we wanted it all to be good. And those bad things maybe is what we have to resist. I don't know.
I like that. Yeah, I like that share that you just did. And, you know, it is really showing us to be more flexible. That's what you were talking about. Be more flexible and allowing things to unfold as they are, not as we expect them to be. Because when we start putting our expectations and our limits on things, we don't get the full value of what it is. We stop seeing the beauty in it because we're just looking for what we think it's supposed to be. Right?
Yeah.
I just opened the book and found another one, and it starts off. It's on page 89, September 28, 2001. And it starts off with the truck, crate, and wings. So it starts off with the same things, like the truck, crate, and wings. And then it says, important, be vigilant, cast your gaze to the horizon. Wings will once again be needed and provided. You have seen this at work, easy, simple. Be ready, coming to you now. So many voices sing. Heed the harmony, the healing these tones bring. Trust, trust, trust. Us.
That's just it too, guys. It's that we're looking at it like she wrote it. She wrote what the angels told her. So this book is written in angel language. So of course it doesn't, come, that doesn't translate out to us. It's the angels' language.
Right. They don't talk like we talk.
Right.
Exactly.
And it is the angel code.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. It's in code. Good one, Linda. It's in code.
But what does the truck, crate, wings mean to everyone?
Getting
That
ready
I
to
don't
move.
understand. That's the part I don't understand.
Yeah,
I think it's getting ready to move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wings to
Right
fly,
up here.
because it said that we might need to allow fear. Like the wings will carry you far and wide. So the wings are for carrying you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know-
I can't find what truck means.
Well, the truck is movement, like Linda said, movement, or you moving about. And crate is putting things in the crate.
Organization too.
Right, yeah. But it's important right after that.
Going back to what Erica and Charlie said about the angel language, and I had mentioned that a little bit the first time when we talked to Anaya, that, when you're watching something, say you're watching a movie with a friend or someone, and you talk about the movie, you're not going to say, you don't have to build background. You don't have to say every single thing because you're both seeing it, right? So you might say, oh, isn't he handsome? Or, oh, that's what should have happened. And you both know what you're talking about. So I feel like the angels, they don't speak, as far as I know, like we do. they know what each other's talking about. They're, you know, they can communicate with their minds. So trying to communicate with us must be different for them, because they don't have to say everything, because they know what they're talking about. But we don't. So we have to bring ourselves to the point of studying and learning and rereading, that we bring our mind to the point that we know what they're talking about.
And
At
you
least
gotta
that's,
just trust.
trust. That's it. Yeah. So that's kind of what I feel, you know, because I think sometimes it disturbs us when we don't get the meaning right away. And so that's where the trust comes in. Trust that what they're telling us is true, and that we will come to understand what it means as we progress. At least that's what I think.
I wanted to add to that, the next very thing starts September 29th, 2001. Well, that was after 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
So it says the blankets are gray, their weave is coarse, draped across their shoulders, weary, fearful. That, when I read it the very first time, that was like the first time anything was that down. You know, it's most of it's uplifting. So it says, open your arms, open them wide. So many need holding. So and my thought is, the whole book, it was, how does this apply to me? What does this mean for me? But it's, that message to me is, it's getting me ready to help everybody else.
Right.
Nurture, forge the bonds, their heads bend low. Prevail, all will prevail. Contact, it becomes more necessary now than ever before. Like minds, soft hearts, shine, brilliant, beam, radiance, radiant, center, gathering, many souls find their way, a hearth for the weary, hear the voices, raise your own among them, be guided. So that to me is one of the strongest pages of, we're all together. We're all in this together. And people have compared our political times now to like January 6th to 2011. It was an epic event. So, you know, and you said it, this came in its perfect time. Well, maybe it's bolstering us up now, like history did before, to be there for each other, and to, it's not just about me, it's about everybody else too. Just saying.
Great words to think about, Linda. Thank you.
I think you're right, Linda. You know, if you, I hate to be the one that confesses that I do watch the news sometimes, but you know, if you look at the news, there's a lot of crazy things happening. I mean, really, really weird things happening. And we know, and we can see that there's a lot of good things happening. The kindness, the peace, the caring for each other. And you're like that. You're like, well, why is all this weird, horrible stuff happening when there's this good stuff happening so strongly? And you know, it makes you wonder, but that's like maybe why we needed something like this, because what the angels are telling us is trust, you know, trust. It takes a while for things to be aligned. It takes a while for them to come to fruition. I'll say that word wrong. But anyway, that keep learning, keep studying, keep searching with us for what is true, and resist all that hatred that is being shown, that bad stuff, because it's not part of it. It's not part of the plan. So I think that that's probably why they want this to be in every hand all around the world. So,
Yeah. I
In
agree.
my opinion, I think that there is a lot of good in the world. There's a lot more good in the world than bad in the world. They just don't tell us about it. So what the news does is it accentuates on all the bad stuff. Like 50 really good things can happen, but they'll tell us about the bad thing.
absolutely.
You know? And that's where it is. And we forget all the good stuff because they keep throwing the bad in our faces. So we have to work on reminding everyone of the good stuff and hold each other up through the crap so that we could see the good, help each other see the way.
You know, I do watch
Erica.
the news every day, and I'm very involved in it, but I have kind of turned off the empathetic side as far as getting drawn down into the negativity. But I think we should be aware of exactly what's going on. And Erica, that tells us what people need.
Yeah.
And maybe what we can do for the good of all. So I think it's almost my duty to be aware of what's going on. I feel like if I don't, things may, I don't know, get out of hand, and I could have done something, you know, even if it's praying for particular things or just, you know, praying for more peace in the world. I know that it needs to be said. So at least I'm one more voice joining in for the good. And I think there has to be a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like today there was another mass shooting in
I
California.
know.
In California, I think it was. Yeah. And
Yes,
to
San
think-
Jose.
and to think nothing is ever done about it, you know,
Mhm.
about it. And it just, you know, God forbid it was your child or whatever at one of these schools or whatever, you know, you just got to feel for the people that, you know, and even today, people lost their lives, and why? Why senseless killings?
Yeah.
But that's just the way, you know.
I think it's being able to learn to live with it, with some, not to live with some things. I mean, being able to balance some of these things and juggle some of these things, because I am of the mindset, I guess I got a little side of me that's a little bit of an activist, quite frankly. And I think that has its role in the whole change of things that's going on as well. I think all of that plays a part into it. And there's just some people that don't want to do that, and that's fine too. I think it goes back to, we all have things that we're drawn to and we have things that we're not drawn to. But yeah, I agree with Linda about, I kind of put up a shield now when I do go into the news, but I do listen to some news, and I listen to more than one point of view sometimes as well, because I like to be a little more well-rounded and informed in this, so I can make decisions. But at the same time, I have to allow my spiritual side to be able to expand and grow at the same time. It's just that juggling thing. And then I've got the side of me that wants to jump in and help these poor people that are suffering and who are having all these horrible things happen to them. Like I said, I've got that activist side that wants to go and do something about it. I'm not saying I know what to do, but I want to do something.
Well, I have to say, this is kind of off the track, but not. There's been so many police departments all over the United States and the world that are getting mental health counselors in instead of the police going in with a gun. And they have to use the body cams. They can't just switch it off when it's convenient. So there's a lot of good day-to-day practical things coming out of it. And I feel like if nobody watched or it wasn't important, those things wouldn't happen. People have to be somewhat activist to make a change. So, you know, even in the book, Anaya said, what good has come out of COVID-19 for you? In one of her questions, you know, what's a good thing that's come out of it? So,
Yeah. And
I think we can't stay in the mud and just slug through. I think we have to put our chin up and look at the light and see what good can come out of something. I'll get off my soapbox.
well, that was a good one. Like what good came out of it? And the
Yeah.
good was all of us here being together. We wouldn't be together if it wasn't for COVID.
Exactly. I agree with that. That's an excellent one thing we all here can put down to start our list off is that right there.
Yeah. I would have never met Teri. I would have never met Erica who's sitting beside me, you know.
Right.
Or me.
Yeah.
Anybody. Absolutely anybody
There's
in
so
our
so much good that come out of COVID besides, you know, all the bad. You know.
Right.
I know it helped me prioritize differently. I don't know if anybody else had that experience, but
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Mary Lou didn't have her priorities straight
Mary
today.
Lou.
I apologize.
Hi.
I apologize. I went to an 11 o'clock cup of coffee, and here it is. I just got home.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't supposed to be a short gathering.
Oh.
I'm so
Oh.
glad.
I see you took your hat off and put it next to you.
I'm trying to get on so I can see you.
We can see you. We were
You
just
can?
talking about COVID and Zoom and getting to know new people. So
It's wonderful.
that's a
Wonderful.
good result.
Yes, I'm so happy I met all of you. I apologize for being late.
That's okay.
This is going to sound strange, but do you think sometimes we have to have or see something bad to notice and appreciate and recognize the miracles that are in the world?
I was going to say
No.
the same thing, Jane.
You know,
Sometimes
that,
you see the bad before the good. Yeah.
and that
It's
way
like-
we choose the good because the good is the path we want to follow, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's like a storm in the rainbow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect analogy. Lynn.
really, I like that.
You
You
come
can
through a
see why
storm.
you were a teacher.
You go through a storm and you come out the other side and it's bright and it's light and there's a rainbow and you're amazed at it. I mean, how many times have you seen a rainbow? But every time I see one, it's like totally awesome.
Yeah.
Or a double rainbow, you know. It's,
Yeah. Yes.
but you
You know,
It's almost like sorry. It's almost like a lesson in patience, I think,
Mhm.
when you go through something, if you can just remember, it's a valley time, but we're still going to have a mountaintop experience.
Mhm.
I know that since
Sometimes it's hard to see the little words and you need a magnifying glass to see things.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a good one, Charlie. That's true.
Oh, come on.
Well,
I put
I
that
know
on the
for
couch to
me,
help him read. He was sitting on the damn
I
thing.
just say, what the hell is this? And I come up with something.
I know since COVID, I've realigned all my priorities to put things that are the most important that have always been there. But you get caught up in, I just use the world as you get caught up in the world of all the things that they desire. And when you have a crisis like COVID, and you have to you start to realize, well, that's not important. That's not what's important. There's no there's no value to it, but then it's absolutely a treasure. There's no monetary value to it, but it's the treasure that really means something. Kindness, the love of other people, taking care of yourself even. I'm going to put that in there because a lot of people don't even realize the value of taking care of themselves, and staying healthy. And I don't know, it has just changed my mind totally from the way it was before, and for that, and then of course meeting the family, how much a bigger gift could you have? It's beautiful. So yeah. But I think that's what this book is for. It's for our time now, like they say, to find. She has this part in here that reminded me of you. It's on page 47. And I'm going to read towards the middle. Well, actually, I'm going to read from the top. It says, cease and desist. Allow the flow and the rhythm to weave their way through the tangle you find yourself in. Nothing can be gained from the battering of souls of wills. Be kind. Allow yourself the grace and beauty only found in the quiet moments where your two minds can become aligned. And I think she's talking about your brain and your higher self right there. Nothing will be gained through this twisted path you are now on. Allow the gentle side to emerge, to become your true guide. And I think that's the purpose of this book, to help us to do that. Anyway, and I won't say another word, I promise. I talked too much.
Oh, you better not promise not to say another word.
Yeah, that's not good. We love your words.
We love your words. Right. No, that's very well put. And it just goes back to that balancing act, that constant balancing act that we just have to do. The self-care on one hand, as well as balancing, helping humanity in some way as a whole on the other. It's just this, and outward, how you're going to treat those around you, the outward versus the inward. But it really truly goes back to that balancing act. And I think by nature, that also goes, when we talk about angels, sometimes there's those angels that help specifically to assist us so that we can straddle between the two, the world, the physical world that we're in now, as well as the other dimensional worlds. And I think we have to remember that we were actually, I think that's what we were designed to do. That's why we're humans. And so you can't just shut down reality, or what we would call reality in the physical world. In the physical sense is what I'm talking about here in on Earth. I mean, we are humans. That makes a difference because that's the role in which we are here. And so I don't know, I just find it fascinating that it's truly a balancing act, at least for me. This is all for me, and I'm not trying to say anyone else, but it's always that
Yes.
gentle balancing between the physical and the spiritual, and so many other things. I could go through a whole list of opposites that would fit this discussion, you know. But thanks for everyone's wise words.
Absolutely. Thank you all who joined in today. We did go a little over time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I wanted to do one thing, if we could do before we go. On the back, there's all them questions or anything. One of them says, list 5 events or 5 people who have helped you in some unexpected way. So if we all just want to think of one event or one person that helped you in an unexpected way. Can we do that? What do you think?
You can start, Charlie.
Okay. Well, mine, I was gonna do a person, and I was gonna do you, Teri, but I'm not doing that. I'm doing an event, and the event was when I died and went up to heaven and came back.
Oh,
Of course, that
pretty
changed my life in a drastic way, and I became the spiritual person that I am. So that, so that was the one event that changed me. So, this is what we're doing. We're each doing one. She ran to the bathroom real quick. So
There's no secrets in this house.
Thanks for letting us know.
All right, geez, Charlie,
all right,
geez.
so someone else can go while Erica ponders.
I'll go. I'll do a real quick one. I know it right away. One. I have many that have been life-changing, but definitely my husband's accident would have been something that was quite sudden and absolutely life-changing. Right then and there, literally with a bang.
well, I would have to say COVID. And I think that's because I was so lost, and I've been so lost for so many years. And it forced me to go online and reach out. And I found Teri and the family, and that has meant the world to me. And it's just changed my whole life. So, it's not that I'm grateful to COVID, but I understand that you can sometimes learn very good lessons and get very good blessings from something bad that happened. So I'm going to say that. And thank you, Teri.
So we are your rainbow.
Oh, I love that.
Who's next? Come on.
I'm having a hard time picking one. This group has been a life changer for me, and I appreciate you all so much for that. And I've had, many things, like meeting my husband and having the courage. I was like in my 50s when we got married a second time, and I had to get through a lot of boundaries that I had placed around myself to not allow myself to be hurt. And I realized if I wanted to allow myself to be loved, I had to let go of all that hurt and everything. So I think that was a very important time in my life when I was able to do that, to love again and trust.
All right, Linda, Gracie, or Teri? What, Erica?
Who left him in charge?
Oh,
He does that.
He is no
Very d-
fat mayo.
It's a male trait.
Well, Terry wants to go, so I gotta say, Charlie, it's a good idea today to keep us moving.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go check out our brick. That's why I gotta go. But,
Oh, awesome.
but I think for me, it was, oh my gosh, I don't even know what year it was. But after I had the kidney failure and the transplant in my life, the transplant was a second chance at life. That's what they call it. When you get, when you're an organ recipient, it's your second chance at life. And that really was what it was for me. And it was at that point, I think, that I started searching, kind of like you, Charlie. It was like, just started that search of what's this life all about anyways? It's not just about surviving. There has to be more to it than that. And so that was when I started searching, and I found Yogananda, I found meditation, all the things that are the tools that lead us to that closer walk with God, the creator, or what you want to call the highest being that is. And I had always known the angels. I always knew their presence, but it opened up more than that. It was more of who I truly was, and helped me to go inside and find that person that I really am, walking around in this human body. So I think that for me, it would have to be that event that happened so many years ago. And, it's like what you were saying, Gina. It's not that I'm happy that I had kidney failure, but I'm grateful for the experience because of what it led me to. And I think that's when we think about COVID, and we think about the contrasts of life, we don't have to like what we're going through, that fire we're going through, but we can always find that rainbow at the end of the trail and really look at what was that experience all about. So that was it for me. Now who's next?
I couldn't think of anything. I was blank. And then I thought of several. But one that changed me was the time, I've told the story before, I was almost in an accident, and I was in the fog, and I slammed the brakes on, and people said, what's going on? And we stopped about 10 feet in front of a car across the road. And I had started going up to heaven. And I realized if we had gotten an accident, nobody would have felt any pain. We would have already been in heaven before even the crash. So I made a decision to stop the car because I didn't feel it was my time or my right to decide for other people. But at that point, that was the most peaceful I had ever felt in my life. And I knew there was a heaven. I knew there was a God. I knew there was a divine plan. So I lost all fear of dying or worrying about what's going to come. And so that was really, and then that's kind of when I started being spiritual again. It's kind of opened a door for me. So I think that was a pretty big change, to go for years without fearing death,
Beautiful, Linda.
My big change, is it me next?
It is.
Yeah, go ahead.
My big change has actually just come. I haven't had events that have perpetuated change, but in that sense, but just meeting Teri and just knowing that I have all this plethora of spirituality has been my greatest event, because now I'm able to understand why I am the way I am. What is it that I see? I'm able to understand the bigger picture and to realize that there's really nothing wrong with me, but that what I've been told even by my mother, it's about time to show yourself, that I have I've known this all along. And most importantly, it's knowing where I fit, just in some of the colors that are painting my journey, which is really helping those spiritual beings to cross over. So for me, it's just been, thank you, Teri, for allowing me to come and tag onto your strings so that I can go through and open up. For I have been a bud, I've been a budding flower, but I haven't actually opened up yet. And this group, just this journey with Teri and all of you, is my aha, my epiphany. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace.
Erica, think you last.
Thank you.
I'm gonna try to make it simple. Teri, it would be meeting you and getting to know you and all the spiritual growth and all the love that you've shown me and like all the different things that you've taught me and just, you know, like always being there. And then, you know, I would have to go into it's every one of you because when I say every one of you, I mean you ladies. Well, we'll forget that. But, you know, like you ladies, because I love each and every one of you. And I am like, I feel so close to each and every one of you. We're a very special, sacred group. And it's just such an honor to be part of this group. And none of it would have been without Teri, without COVID, you know, so it's just such a beautiful thing. And it's not just the book club group, it's the whole group that we're in together, especially this little pod of the peas. Thank you. I love you all.
Thank you.
Yes. Hooray, Erica. Hooray. Erica, you have grown. You have grown, Erica. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's due to all of you and all of your help and all of your insights. I get so much out of each and every one of you. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. And I can just say all of you have grown. I have seen such spiritual growth in everyone that's sitting here right now on this Zoom meeting. I've really seen it and so proud of you. I'm like that proud Mama P that just loves every time one of you speaks up and uses your authentic voice, every time that you give us a teaching from your experiences, from your life, or like in the case of Christina, when she has stepped up to teach us on Mondays. There's just been such immense growth in this group, and I love every one of you so much. You're such a blessing in my life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To all of you.
Thank you.
Yes, the collective thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm glad we did that.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yes, Charlie.
Yeah,
Great.
so much ego. She's in so much ego. Come on, guys, stop blowing up his head.
We better all say thank you, Charlie. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Charlie.
Love your angels. All right, so we do have to end the show. Thank you all for being here, and those who came on with us virtually. We love you so much, and we'll be back next week. And I don't know what book we're on because this is the last one, I believe, for this one.
Can we do this for one more week?
Today.
Yeah,
Is that a no or a yes?
That's an I don't know. It's not my group.
I mean,
it's not my decision.
So we need to ask him because he thinks it's his group.
What do you guys
do you want to do some of the questions in the back?
I think so. Can we, guys?
Yeah,
sure.
That's a good idea.
Yes.
I think we should because it'll be on the 33rd day. So.
The 33rd day of May?
Yeah.
32nd of May. Oh, Charlie. Okay, let's do that, and then we'll decide what we're going to after that. All right. I love you all.
Love
Okay.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Y'all have a
Okay.
day.
Namaste.
I
love you,
Hope
family.
is with us and Pat Moss. Thank you all
Bye-bye.
there.
Going at the end.
Bye, everybody.